So Dave, you gotta stop subscribing to everything.
No, I kind of like doing that, but it's kind of like the box of cables that I have that everybody wants to keep. I know it's getting in the way.
Exactly. So I think today's podcast, we want to talk about basically break down what creators actually need versus all the just the shiny tech nonsense.
Because we think we need everything when it comes to this. The next new tool will make us better. It'll make us stronger, faster, and that's not always the case.
Gotcha. Okay. So what we really want to spend is maybe the core problem is the tool overload that we're seeing out there.
Yep.
Is let me ask you this: more tools, more professional?
No, people like to think that because it's something else I can buy to hopefully make me better, and it doesn't.
So you end up getting a lot of overlap, I'm guessing, because like my subscription to Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, goes on down the list. There's only so much TV I can watch, and half of those shows overlap each other, much like the tools would in this case.
Correct. And you got to realize there's so many hours in a day that you can get things done, and there's only so much TV you can watch in a day without getting things done.
So what we want is the right tool for the right job.
Correct. Best of breed of whatever you're doing with minimal overlap.
And so this would subscribe to the keep it simple, stupid plan?
100%, because
Okay,
I'm
so
stupid.
The less, I guess what we want is we want to create content, and create content, it's not tools, it's habits.
Correct. Habits will grow with you over time. Tools don't, because tools you're always going to continue and change no matter how long you've been using or how you're going to do it. There's always going to be a perceived better tool. But if you're consistently using the tools that you have available to you in a consistent manner, you will always become better.
So would you say that the path first is to not start buying a bunch of tools, because the habit is the next shiny object, especially with hardware. Software is going to fall into the same thing, especially with AI and everything else. But you want to understand the workflow first. Correct. Before you understand how you're going to accomplish the workflow.
Correct. And for most creators, understanding the workflow is the hardest part because you think you need a tool to create the workflow.
Right, and I guess a common trap would be looking at overlapping tools. So, people that have multiple schedulers, paying monthly for tools you're only using occasionally.
Correct. It's kind of like how many subscriptions do I have coming out of my bank account on any given day? What is that going to do to help me make better? Nothing. It's just going to drain your account. It's going to drain you. You're going to get tool fatigue faster than you realize, because as you're doing this, you want to become better, faster, stronger, and you think a tool is going to do it for you.
Okay. So let's jump over to another topic then. That kind of, I think, leads into the what do I need to have? Then what is the creator stack that maybe we talk about, the ones that we've settled on, because we started this YouTube channel
2 years ago.
2 years ago. We had a long pause, probably of close to a year. And we got into that fatigue. We stopped producing content. We were too caught up, I think, in the shiny object of look at this hardware, look at this software, look at this new microphone.
Well, everything was being thrown at us, just like it is today. I mean, you've got an ad for the next AI tool that's going to make your life better, faster, stronger, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. So what we stopped doing is, I say, we got back to our basics. 20 plus years of IT have taught us that usually the best plan is the simplest plan.
Yep.
So if we subscribe,
and you'll hear that terminology in IT a lot too, is best of breed.
Yep.
Because there's not one thing that does it the best always.
Right. So keep it simple. So why don't we do this? Why don't we run through some of the core areas of content creation? And I'm sure there's a number that we're going to miss because we're as new to this as a lot of folks, but we've learned a few things along the way, and that's why we did this channel, to help other people out in our age bracket.
Yeah.
Level of grayness, I guess. Let's start with the recording tools.
So this is when we've come down a long road, lots of bumps and bruises. We've bought quite a bit of gear doing this, and there's perception and reality. No matter how your video looks, if the audio is crap, nobody's going to watch it or listen to it.
Right.
It's kind of like going down the road listening to a radio that has a lot of static. I want to turn it immediately. So just because I need to record audio doesn't mean I need, and I'll represent this as a recording mic. You'll notice we don't have all the podcast mics set up. We don't have a huge mixer set up in front of us because we don't need it. Not at this stage in the game.
Right, and we fell into that trap originally because we had the Rodecaster, which is an audio mixer, very expensive piece of equipment that you just happen to have lying around the house. So I'm not going to ask you why. And a bunch of XLR mics, which are high end, cost. They can be costly mics. But when it comes down to it, you want good solid audio because, one, like you said, people will change the channel immediately. If you can't hear what you're saying, they're going to move on to something else. They'll forgive video being a little bit choppy. But also, I think if for anybody who's doing this for YouTube and stuff like that, you might even want to take this as, whatever audio we record can be repurposed into an audio podcast. There's a lot of different places to repurpose audio.
Yeah, one of the things I got caught up on real fast was the video side of how am I going to get my audio into the video? Well, I was thinking, for lack of a better word, at an analog level, I need to be able to plug a mic into that camera to get it to sync. No, you don't. Just like in movies, you can record your audio separately from your video track and then merge after the fact. So one thing you'll see here is we're using, a lot of people refer to as lavalier mics. We're using wireless mics.
Probably see it a little bit better on my blue shirt than your black shirt.
Black shirt, yeah, versus the green
little
button.
Guy right here. It's just a microphone.
Yeah. And there's next to no audio processing done to any of the audio you're hearing right now. I think it sounds awesome. Does it have that beefy radio DJ jockey type guy coming? No, but I don't think it's needed for this because that's what everybody else is running as well. So understanding that process and that workflow will make things a lot easier. Don't get hung up on what you look like on the video, because I sure don't. The audio is where everything is going to come together.
So for us, let's just check this box. Now for audio, we're using these DJI, they're called Mic Mini 2s. There's a small receiver that's plugged into an iPhone. That's actually what's recording this right now, is a couple of iPhones. And the audio is flowing through that. So it's wirelessly connected, goes right into the USB-C. It's very simple. I think I paid around $140 for it, roughly. You can find it on sale from time to time. And there's even cheaper versions too. And there's other ones that compete directly with DJI. Hollyland's a good one. Lark is another one. Rode has one, a little more on the expensive side.
Yeah.
But again, very simple USB connection. Put it on your shirt. It's magnet that holds it on. Very simple. Now, you could get into higher end microphones and stuff like that down the road, or even just USB mics that might be, plugged into the laptop.
Yep.
Very simple, but keep it simple. Get something that sounds good.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you can spend a metric ton on mixers. There's actually some really good for if you want the podcast look with the mic in front of you. Shure and Rode make a very nice USB for like $150. That plugs in. You can get the boom arm for it, whatever the case may be.
Elgato makes some really nice ones too.
Yes, exactly. And they do most of everything. It's a sound profile. It's done. Look and feel is going to be everybody's individual preference, but you notice everybody wants to have the mics on the desk. For two people, one person, I don't think you need that.
Yeah, and it might be a good one. There'll be a good video for us to follow up on. Just taking a look at how do some of these mics connect. USB one and XLR, these wireless lavalier mics, and how those look. So moving on, video. This is where I think a lot of people start to fall down and want to spend a lot of money. So,
you mean on stuff like this? The big camera.
I happen to be into photography and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, people want to run out and buy the vlogging cameras. Sony, Canon. There's a number of them out there, and they can get expensive quick. Matter of fact, the lower end of the vlogging cameras, I think I saw at Best Buy around the $450 to $500 mark.
Yeah, that's your entry level
with a decent sale. At the end of the day, the best camera I think you have is the one that's readily available and normally in your pocket. And most people today have a smartphone.
Yeah. I mean, even something that's 5 years old, I still carry an iPhone 12, has an awesome 4K camera on it.
Right.
So there's no need to go out and spend boatloads of money. Again, right tool for the right person at the right time.
And the funny thing is what we're recording on right now is a couple of iPhones. We have a couple of different angles that you'll see pop in and out.
Of varying degrees of whenever they were made.
Yep. We have a 16 Pro Max,
a 15,
15, and the
12,
right? Mm-hmm. So again, if you have an Android phone, an iPhone, doesn't matter. Most of the time the camera's really good.
Yeah.
And the audio is normally pretty good too.
Yeah.
So you can use, a camera on a selfie stick, hold it out, something like that. Use an AirPod or another mic, or even plug in a USB mic straight to your iPhone. It should be good enough. And that's really what you need to get out of the gate, I think, is the nice to have. is the the expensive gear. Not necessary. Matter of fact, it'll probably slow you down out of the gate because you're going to be too infatuated playing with the gear rather than actually producing content.
Yeah, I mean, we first time we played with any of that gear, it took us about a day just to get everything set up and ready to even do a test record.
Right.
And that's pretty much because we deal with technology on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah.
So your average user, not saying anybody else is not capable, but there's a lot of moving parts on it, both digitally and analog. So you got to keep that in mind. And at the end of the day, does that make you better at what you're doing? No. Makes you a better tinkerer.
Right.
But that's about it.
So again, the goal is to accomplished here is to generate content. Now we have audio and video. Let's just say it's going to a smartphone of some sort, right? We got a decent audio track. We have a decent video track. Now what? We want to be able to edit. So let's talk about editing tools itself and some of the traps that we fell into out of the gate. I know I started off with, you can't use iMovie, nothing, because it's too simple. It's the Fisher Price my first video, nothing type of feel, nothing. Don't fall into that trap. If you can get comfortable learning an iMovie or something like that, again, it's free, comes with every Macintosh. You can do something, I think Microsoft has Clipchamp, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's called Clipchamp. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But there are a lot of free ones out there. That we went the opposite extreme and tried Final Cut Pro, which is expensive.
Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere,
DaVinci
Resolve. I mean, it's just because it's what we do. It's what our day job is we deal with hard stuff all the time. So I mean, it was just in our DNA.
And I think what ended up happening is we produced less content because the learning curve is very sharp. Now, are those the right tools to for professional video editing? I'm not Steven Spielberg. I'm not going to produce anything like that.
Nope.
This podcast is the good enough.
If we're doing anything around Jurassic Park, it's because we're old.
Yeah, exactly. So we stepped back and said, I actually turned around to my 18-year-old son, who's filming TikToks and everything else, and is fabulously more inventive than I am, and actually has a much more successful channel than we do. But
he's making money.
Neither here nor there. And someday I'll actually understand what ASMR is.
Bitter party of two.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like, Dad, why aren't you using CapCut? It's free, it's easy to use, and you can get the pro version for a couple of things, but even the free tier is really good.
And that goes back to good enough. Because at the end of the day, making the video, there's going to be a certain amount of time that you got to dedicate to it. But editing is going to be a big portion of what you're doing. And you don't want it to be laborious and just god-awful because if I make another video, I got to edit it again. You need to have some levers in there you can pull that give you some automation. But again, you don't need DaVinci Resolve. You don't need Final Cut. You don't need any of the big tools to do this. There's enough out there. Heck, there's even stuff on your iPhone that you can do to make simple editing. Yeah.
So I guess long story short, find an editor that is relatively easy to learn. I would highly suggest going to YouTube. Hopefully you're here
that's
anyway.
What we did.
So if you're on YouTube now watching us, go do a search on CapCut, iMovie, something simple. Pick something on your phone that you might want to play around with. Filmora is a decent one from what I understand.
Yes.
But there's a number of them out there, and watch a couple of tutorials and then film something. Do something with it. Don't watch tutorials. Don't go down that rabbit hole. That's a whole different topic and probably a different podcast. And the thing is that you can tutorial yourself to death.
Yeah, 100%, because we did.
But find something that can get you started, film something, and put it out there.
Yeah, and again, you'll hear this common workflow or common theme is consistency, because we all have if we can't get it done fast enough, then we got to find something else that's going to do it faster for us. And we fell into that trap. I see that quite a bit, is you got to learn the tool you have and use it for a certain amount of time. Don't do 2 edits and go, I'm done with this, I can't work it. There's something, either you either pick the wrong tool to use or you're just not being patient enough. That's roughly what it boils down to.
Right.
And don't get caught up, I have to have 64 cinematic transitions in a video. Make it simple.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you put too many transitions in there, it's going to get people, even though your audio may be great, your video is just going to...
Yeah, vertigo.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you need some kind of, nausea medicine to make it through the end of your 30-second clip.
Yep. I mean, a good thing to remember on this is if the tool needs the good thing to remember on this is if the tool needs a tutorial longer than it takes you to edit the video, there's probably a problem there.
Right. Exactly. Let's move on to two real quick things. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. File storage and backup.
Yep. And we're going to do some videos on that. Again, this is one of those keep it simple, stupid. While you're starting out, get you a small external USB-C, USB-A, whatever the case may be, but a small SSD. 2 terabytes you can pick up for about $150 all day long. Although with the end of the world coming with the new AI and taking up SSDs and memory, it may be a little bit more expensive than that. Start with that.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't want to do is now start stacking up drives on your desk. And I've seen every creator that I know of has the mountain of removable drives that they need to do things with. We're going to do a video on how to do inexpensive archive, not working data, but archive data to keep stuff off. That for a few $100, it gets you, you don't have to pay for cloud storage. It's on your local network at home you can get to, and it makes things really easy.
Okay, so the keep it simple, stupid plan for this one, just to check the box, is to get an external hard drive and then come watch the follow-up videos that we're going to have. All right, cool. Publishing platform. This is, okay, where now you've created content, you're going to put it out there for people to see.
Yep.
So we settled on YouTube. Obviously, if you're here, you already know that. But you can repurpose audio. So if you like Spotify, if you want to do Apple Podcasts, things like that, any number of them out there, there's a lot of them. So again, repurpose it. Pick a place to put things out there. Maybe even a newsletter if you want to send something out. LinkedIn, some of the social media platforms, Facebook. There's a lot of places to post your content. Best thing to do is get it out there. All feedback is good feedback. So go ahead and put it out there and take it in, make adjustments, go from there. So let's table for a minute, and just to move things along and not have a 3-hour initial podcast. Let's look at tools per category. And we'll give you the idea of the ones that we've settled on. And again, this is going to be an ever-changing list, right? I think we're going to, over time, change them. But let's start off with design. So this will be thumbnails, graphics design, little, things, maybe fonts, stuff like that. For me, I've settled on Canva. That one I actually do have a pro subscription to, just because I find that platform to be wildly useful to use some of the pro templates they have. Not to reinvent I'm not a graphic artist by any chance. And,
better than me, though.
Yeah, well, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. But I can utilize somebody else's template, change the colors, change the font, put in my own words, and swap out a graphic.
But that's actually a good point, is you don't have to reinvent the wheel while you're doing this. Use what other people, that's freely available. This is not copyright or anything else. If it's free and it's available and you can use it, do so. Don't try to reinvent the wheel every time you want to do something. You'll get better over time.
Yeah, and I think too, go to YouTube and see which videos are successful. Look at their thumbnails and what drove you to click on it.
Yep, 100%.
And there's probably a template that can put you in that realm.
It was a template, a title, an image, something pulled your attention to that, why you chose that.
Right. And we can definitely get into thumbnail design down the road. But so for that one, design, we're going to say Canva. Scheduling.
The bane of our existence.
Yes. So we're super simple. Use Google Calendar. Dave and I link up on that. We actually use Google Chat and to talk between each other during the day. So I'm going to just say simple calendar app.
Yeah.
Pick the one.
Everybody's got one on their phone.
Throw it in there, set a reminder, and try to live up to it.
And if you don't have one, you can set up one online real quick and share it. It's not a big deal.
Yep. Writing and scripting. So for us, we're even following some bullet points here, even though we probably sound like we're a little bit random. We're not actually. This is less random than we can be. Trust us.
Yes.
But we've used ChatGPT. I think it's the most simple, one out there. Go to the website, and we just typed in, this is the topic we're looking to talk about. We just need a rough, script, edit, a workflow, something like that.
Yeah, it's not going to be right straight out of the gate. You're going to make it your own, but you've got to have a foundation. And I know sometimes I have a hard time starting out. That's an easy button.
Yep, exactly. At least get you started. And the nice thing I've seen at the end of usually when I'm working with ChatGPT is that it'll ask me the next question, is do you want me to do this? And I was like, I would never thought of that. And usually iterate a few times on your initial prompt, and you'll come back with something that you can at least follow along as a bullet point, a script, whatever that might be.
Yeah, and it may not be a single script. It may, tree you off to your second episode, and you pull some of that out of what you thought was going to be in the first.
And I'm going to check a box here that you do not need a subscription to this.
No.
The free tier works perfectly fine. If you want to use the pro tier, by all means, I'm not saying don't, nothing, but I have not paid for an AI in this vein at all.
Nope. And there's no need to.
Last one, analytics. This one here, I'm going to say,
Can you put an X through the box?
yeah, don't do this one out of the gate. No, you don't need analytics. You're not driving enough, people looking at things yet. You're not, trying to figure out if somebody in Uzbekistan is looking at your content. Analytics can come. You're going to have basic analytics anyway as part of YouTube, as part of a Facebook, as part of a LinkedIn, something like that on, who's looking at it, number of viewers, impressions, things like that. Don't try to reinvent the wheel here. You don't need secondary tools. There's a lot of them out there that'll try to pull you in. We looked at TubeBuddy, vidIQ.
Oh, God, vidIQ. What was the other one? Something Blade.
Social Blade.
Social Blade. Yeah.
But they're all great. Don't get us wrong. They all have their place. But out of the gate as a starting creator, no, this is not where I'm spending my money.
No, because I call it is fear of blinking. You get your first video out and you're staring at the screen the entire time going, oh, I got 1 view. I got 2 views. 24 hours later, I have no views. Why?
Yeah, this is like looking at your 401k.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Why? Don't overanalyze this. Just do it and get better.
All right. So again, we covered a lot of the tech tools for audio and video. We covered, get a simple calendar. We covered, an editor like a CapCut, a Filmora, iMovie with something simple there. We covered, putting data onto an external hard drive. So we're checking a lot of boxes here. So let's run over to the next topic, the nice to haves. Okay.
Yes.
Tools. Here's things you don't need early. Okay. I'm just going to go through a couple bullets that we wrote down. We already talked about advanced analytics dashboards.
Yep.
You don't need those.
Nope.
We covered that. AI tools that promise viral content. First of all, this is the promise. No, none of them are going to promise viral content. AI is not down the path I think you want to go right now. Everything I read about YouTube, when I look at, some of the bigger, creators out there, their guidance is people want real.
Yes.
They want people talking about their experiences. That's what hopefully we're doing here. They don't want an AI generated voice reading a script poorly, or an avatar that looks robotic at best.
You've heard that voice used 16 different times on 16 different videos.
Exactly. So AI is not where you want to spend, other than, I would say right now, help you with writing some scripts.
Yeah, agree.
Multiple scheduling tools. No, use a calendar.
Keep it simple.
Yep, keep it simple. Calendar, reminder, done. Premium branding kits before you have traction.
I'm 50-50 on this one because I like to see the brand, but I think you're right. There's better ways. If you're going to spend money, you don't need this straight out of the gate. To your point, you can do something in Canva. You can do something in some of the free tools out there to get you a brand started and grow and evolve that brand over time, and it will become more professional looking as you grow.
I would rather folks in this category spend their time on YouTube itself and look at 5-6 channels that in your content space, in your niche, whatever that might be, that I would click on that. And then ask yourself, why would I click on that? Was it the title? Was it the content? Was it just simply the thumbnail just drew me in? What is that? And then write down the things that, really check the boxes for you.
Yeah.
I think that's probably enough. And then, like I said, there's 1,000 templates in Canva, and then to get you going down a path, if you find something you like, you can kind of iterate on it.
And you're just getting started. You have time to make changes. Nobody's going to forget about you.
So let's look at this. How about trigger moments when nice to haves become need to haves? Okay.
That's a good point.
So some clear trigger moments, I would say, the first one is say something that saves me X number of hours a week.
Something like editing, because we know that's going to be where most of your time is going to be doing. As you're going through this, what can I add into, well, not add, I hate to say it that way because I don't want to buy anything else, but what can I change, or what will help me reduce the amount of hours I have to do things with, because I've only got so many hours in a day. That's going to be the first thing.
Even like, again, we talked about scripting with ChatGPT.
Yes.
It can get the ball rolling quicker rather than having writer's block, right?
Yeah. And you can spend 30, 45 minutes going through ChatGPT or whatever AI tool you want to use. Don't get hung up on that one, and iterating scripts And that's valuable time that is being used to get you to the next stage of where you're going to go.
You know, I can actually give an example of this that helped me out. So when we were doing our content update video, I struggled with like a little intro. I wanted an 8-second clip just to intro our logo, you know, a little bit of music, you know, thanks for, you know, checking us out on Tech Dudes Weekly, right? Yeah. And I tried to create something, pieced it together, got cameras out, doing the recording, stuff like that. And then I turned around, I was looking at, CapCut was open on my screen over here, and I saw this is where I spent I think it was $12. They had an initial offer, right, for the month. It's like, for $12, I could use that template, drag our logo into it, and be done with this. So what went from me setting up cameras, me setting up audio, trying to record something, edit it, probably re-recorded a few thousand times because I, tripped over my own tongue, to a 5-second template that ended up looking a hell of a lot nicer than anything I was going to make anyway.
Yeah. And
$12.
And the money spent, the $12 you spent, was a legitimate spend versus where I would have probably got fed up and go, let me go pay somebody $300 on Fiverr to make what I need. So understanding that realization of how things are going to evolve and getting that aha moment is going to be really insightful, and it's going to carry you through to the next one.
Right, and you're reclaiming that time. I mean, I always tell my kids, there's 2 things in life you never get back. Health, time.
Yep. I can make all the money I need to make, but I cannot make time.
Yep, you can't make time, you can't buy health.
Nope.
So, here's another one. Something that helps you not repeating the same mistake consistently.
You mean like buying new gear?
Yes. So something that keeps you maybe on track. Again, we talked about a calendar. Go buy a notepad, check it off at the end of the week. Things that where you're not constantly falling into the same trap, right?
And it's going to be different for everybody. Some people want a digital to do. I still, knowing what I do for a living, I still like a whiteboard.
Yeah. I mean, who knew? Pen and paper, right?
Because I can't ignore it. I walk by it every time I see it.
Exactly.
So
exactly. All right. So that gives us a couple of transitions. Things you don't need, things that you could need over time, but have a reason to do it, right? Here's one other thing I want to start talking about: subscription overlap and cost control.
Yes, which is prevalent in this space.
Right. So this is again, I'm gonna say this is the Gen X side of me, knowing that the discipline I have with, do I really need that? That was expensive. Looking at I don't say I pinch pennies, but I am the guy that will take the thermostat and bring it down 2 degrees, because I know I'm going to save $20 at the end of the month.
And I'm not that way. I'm sorry. My wife goes out back crap crazy over that stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those people that'll throw a sweater at somebody before I turn the thermostat up.
That's my wife.
But
yep.
Anyway, but subscription creep is real, right? And anybody who's bought, if you like Netflix, I wonder how many people here can say, yeah, I have Hulu, I have Disney Plus, I have YouTube, I have HBO Max. It goes on and on and on, right? Now, that subscription, it also carries over into this world as well. We already talked about, Canva, CapCut,
everybody's got to try it for free, which gives you the hook to go pay for it.
Every AI has a subscription tier. Every, B-roll and, audio things have subscription creep. So the questions to ask: what did you actually use last month? I can check off 2 things, like Canva, absolutely. CapCut, I'm using more and more. Those 2 are absolutely key to me.
And I would further that question of, okay, there's some overlap between those 2, but not a lot.
Right.
Are those going to be critical to my success and my evolution, if you will? Or is it something at a later date, if I had 3, can one of those fall out? If I have all 3 and I use these 2, this amount, this one, this amount, where can I start whittling away? Because it's not about how much you spend per se, it's how I spend wisely. And in this day and age, everybody's wanting to take a penny.
Well, and I think to your point, like even for those 2 that I named, so in Canva, I'm going to do my thumbnails and stuff like that, but I'm not editing my video.
Nope.
And vice versa, obviously.
But you can.
You could.
Yes.
Nothing, but they're not the right tool for those individual workflows. But when I looked at, I had a subscription to something that gave me B-roll, extra graphics, audio, stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember
like,
that.
Boy, there's a lot of stuff that already comes with CapCut and Canva that covers that, and I was able to drop that subscription. So I'm not going to say which one it was, but still, that was one that I was able to give up.
Yeah, and a lot of those, the B-roll is, or the whatever you grab out of it is only good while you have the subscription. As soon as you cancel the subscription, it's gone.
Right, exactly. So questions to ask: what did you lose last month? What overlaps are there? Could I pause? If you could pause without any kind of interruption, there's a chance you don't need it.
Yeah.
IT wisdom here: kill unused licensing, get rid of it, downgrade plans aggressively. So
Yes.
if you can get to a base level of a plan and still operate well, that's something to be said there. And then suggestions: annual subscriptions only after they prove value.
Yeah, because a lot of them want to show you, well, you're going to pay more monthly, but if you buy an annual for X amount of money, they want the money up front, no matter how it is. You're not going to pay monthly on it. Is that $20 or 20% saving you're going to get you? Are you going to use it for the entire year?
Right.
Or you're only going to use it for 6 months and switch to something else? Spend wisely, not just because you're going to save a little bit of money up front.
Right. So prove value for annual, for during experimentation, learning
Yes.
process, stuff like that, monthly.
Most of them will give you a free tier for the first month, 2 weeks, something like
yeah.
that. That should be more than enough time to figure out, can it be viable?
Right, exactly. So if canceling a tool wouldn't change tomorrow's workflow, shouldn't be paying for it.
No, that's 100%. That needs to be a bumper sticker.
Yep.
Wow, sorry, that showed how old I was. Needs
So,
to be on
t-shirt?
Instagram. Yeah,
Go with a t-shirt.
yeah, t-shirt.
So let's start to tie this off a little bit here. Rapid fire. Let's have a little bit of fun. Nothing. I'm going to give you a tool category, and you're going to give me your reaction.
Oh,
Okay? So all-in-one creator platforms.
That's gonna be YouTube.
Okay. AI writing assistants.
That's where we differ. I like 11 Labs to a degree, but you can use ChatGPT, you can use a bunch of other stuff. But again, it's what you're comfortable using.
Okay. Social schedulers.
That's your calendar.
Okay. Keep it simple.
Yeah, again,
All right. Paid thumbnail tools.
you can start out with free ones. I mean, Canva's the one that we use quite a bit, and that's your go-to on there.
Yep. And they
But-
have a lot of free tier stuff too.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to use their pro graphics.
Only justify the paid tier if it's something you're going to use consistently. Again, consistency is going to be key.
So gain some skills in the free tier.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And there's lots of free tiers.
Okay. Automation software.
There's nothing that you need to automate right now because you're going through this, and this should be an evolution of how you do things. There's no need to try to automate it when you don't understand it in the first place.
Right. So until you find yourself consistently doing something tedious, then you can look at it, but not out of the gate.
Nope.
Okay. So just some general rules. Nothing. 10 to 15 seconds per take. Record something, play with it, get it done. Right. Quick IT style verdict. So I would say for that, nothing is. Again, watch your subscriptions, cancel what you can, downgrade to the bare minimum, and experiment via monthly. Don't pay for something annually that you're going to end up using for 1 month.
Yeah, because remember, you're not making money straight out of the gate, but everybody wants your money straight out of the gate.
Right. So just to wrap it up, key takeaways. Tools. Go ahead. Sure. Yeah.
Tools don't make the creators, consistency does. You hear that all the time from us, and we learned that early on in this, and we should have learned it a lot earlier than we did,
Right.
but we got caught up in the tools piece.
Simple stacks, scale. Keep it simple, plan.
Yeah, because if you can keep it simple in the beginning, you're going to learn process and procedure. Again, tying back to consistency, that will scale over time, and it may scale into a different tool.
Okay. I'm going to do this one. I like this one here. This, I think, is going to be a t-shirt at some point here. Start boring, earn complexity.
Yeah, I agree with that one because you learn, and I tell my daughter this quite a bit, you learn faster by failure than you actually learn by winning.
Right.
And if you start out boring, people are going to tell you what is boring about it that you're going to have to fix, which in that piece of it will earn you the complexity that you need to move to the next level.
So iterate on the skills, move
Yes.
up the tier, but
Yep.
start simple.
Yep.
All right. So let me, you know what? We should have some kind of, a closing argument, meaning that, what's the call to action? I mean, I think every podcast here is supposed to have some kind of call to action with our listener. For us, nothing. I would say maybe the first one is, what tool are you paying for but not using?
100%. again, because you're not making money straight out of the gate. This is an experiment that may or may not turn into something you want to do for the rest of your life or a part of your life. Don't dump a bunch of money into it, because money's not going to make it better from day one. You can still spend a bunch of money and it not go anywhere.
What about if you had to keep one tool but get rid of everything else? Could you do that? Could you think of the tool that you would absolutely have to keep?
Yeah, that'd be my editing software.
Okay.
And that's probably your least amount of spend that you're going to do if you get the right one. And it could be something as free as iMovie, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in there. It may be something as the paid tier on CapCut. Or if you're an all-in Adobe Premiere person, if that's the one tool that does everything for you, that is your firewall, if you will. That is where I stake everything and I make it what it needs to be.
Fair enough. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time today, Dave. I think when it comes down to it, knowing it's the, again, we've said this, I don't know, probably 50 times already on the show, it's the keep it simple plan.
Yep.
But create.
Exactly.
Right? Don't get hung up in the hardware. Don't get hung up in the software. Don't get hung up in the subscriptions. Bare minimum, get a workflow, stick to the workflow, put it on a calendar so you can check a box that you accomplished something during the day, and then create something and put it out there and iterate.
And don't be afraid to take constructive criticism. Not all criticism's good, but there is constructive. Show it to friends and family, people who support you. They're going to tell you what's good, bad, or indifferent about any of this. Take that criticism, iterate on it, and you're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to learn.
Gotcha. So I think one of the things we'll do, if you look down in the description here, we'll post a link to it. But we're going to put a creator tool decision checklist out there.
Check in the box.
Give you some guidance. It's a freebie. It's a thank you for subscribing and watching. Hopefully you subscribed. Nothing but hopefully you watched long enough to get this. Nothing but if you do, grab it off the site, do the checklist, and we would love to see some feedback. Knowing, did you use the checklist? Did it help? Knowing, what is your takeaway from this? And, was there something that you could say, yeah, that helped me move forward and, start to create more content?
Yeah, the one thing I would say is also, we may turn this into a t-shirt as well. Build it like a pro, create it like a human, distribute it so everybody else can enjoy.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate you coming on the podcast. Nothing like usual, and hopefully we'll have more, coming in the future. We'll definitely have a few other videos coming out that can, dive into a couple of the tools that we did mention, how we do our workflow, and then look for, we want feedback too, because I'm sure there's something we can do a hell of a lot better.
Yep.
I know
do we need to make this longer, shorter? Do you want to see more pop-ups, whiz-bang thing? Whatever the case is, put your constructive criticism down in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to engage with you.
Well, excellent. Well, to one Gen X to another. Nothing, thanks for jumping in, joining YouTube, and we'll hope to see more of you out there over time.
Yep.
Thanks again.